Yeah, well, funnily enough, in the group that I've run, um, a new guy, relatively new, he's been around for a couple of weeks. You know who you are. And he's doing well. But the main thing is, he said today, I had this trade and I didn't let it go to complete target because it's sort of chopped around a bit and I freaked out, so I took profit early. Then it went to target anyway, right? And I'm like assuming that the next thing he's going to say is that he went on tilt because he had FOMO, right? But he didn't, right? And I was really pleased to hear that. Instead, he said, "Oh, and I just after that, you'll be pleased to hear I just waited for the next setup." The way we trade, like you can afford to wait, right? Because the setups come like so thick and fast, so regularly. If you're trading the way we are, um, that you might, through only experience, that you don't have to wait for very long, and so that should fill you with confidence to wait, right? Knowing that you don't have to wait for very long, right? Now, I think I get tested, even after trading for so many years, I get tested sometimes. And I know that if you have an easy day, like yesterday was quite smooth, right? Um, like I'm like, I know what you're doing, Mr. Market Maker. I know what you're doing. You're giving me a false sense of belief, right? And so it's a day like today, I'm exceptionally careful. And I'll even go as far as looking to see what's in sort of in preparation for today. I know we have earnings, right? So I'm like, and then I researched. I'm not a fundamental trader, but sometimes I might be like bored and research something, right? And I know that Nvidia has a problem with their chips. Has a problem with their chips. Of course, it's a company known for microchip development, production. And so I'm like, oh, this might be like bad earnings. Maybe we'll have some investors pulling out, or, you know, we don't know. So I'm like, that in alignment with the fact that yesterday was easy as hell for the majority of traders, the way we trade anyway. Um, I'm like, today might be cumbersome. I traded Asia in anticipation of that because I know that on a difficult day, Asia is usually the the way to go. Get that out of the way. Um, and then you can build your cushion in Asia. I know the engineer is trading in that style too. I saw him post on Twitter, building my cushion in Asia. I'm like, my man. Yeah, because that means that whatever assault you might witness during sort of core trading hours, you've already built a cushion, so you can sort of stomach a few blows, right? I approach the market every day assuming that something's going to go wrong. I don't enter a trade assuming that it's going to hit take profit. So naturally, as a result of that, guess what? I'm literally assuming my stop loss is going to get hit, so I don't want to lose too much, right? So I'm I'm very conservative, I guess you could say. That is sort of, I'm very protective, right? I'm not thinking about my take profit. I'm thinking about getting my stop in. If you ever see me trade live, some people are like, "Why have you got no confidence in your trade? You just leave your stop where it is, leave it wide. Why don't you have a wider stop?" I'm like, because have you seen NQ sometimes? I mean, I think NQ trains you to be like that over time. You're like, there's only one way to trade NQ, and you have to get that stop in tight because you never know if it's going to do a 20-point wick and then continue on, right? Uh, and so I'm already telling myself, well, if I get stopped out, I can enter again. I trick myself. I like this quote. It's actually God, I think I'm quoting my girlfriend, but uh, she said, the mind is a trickster, so we have to learn to trick it back, right? So I'm tricking myself into like a full sense of like belief that everything's going to be okay. So how do I do that? And how does it apply to my trading? Well, it's me saying to myself, I can get stopped out, yeah, with minimal loss, and I'll be able to get a better entry. I trick myself. I'm like, you'll just be able to make more money if you get stopped out. Pff, I kind of want to get stopped out, right? You sort of flip it on its head, don't you? Um, yeah, and that enables you to remain level-headed, so you don't expect to win. So therefore, assuming you go into every trade that expecting to lose, you're going to be more protective, and you're going to be ready for the next. You're going to be ready for the next bloody trade. The next trade is soon, the way I trade. So I have no reason to freak out or be like feel FOMO because I'm like I could literally just walk away for like half an hour, come back. I'm not promoting. This is what I need to be careful of. I'm sure Josh and Tu would agree. I'm not promoting trading 5-second charts. Okay. Even though I think it's probably one of the most sustainable ways to trade NQ, at least the way I trade, because you can have tight stops and you're gonna get stopped out, but not for much, right? And I'm like, what we want to think of trading as is having as much ammunition in your gun as you can to keep firing at the target until distribution begins. Pow, pow. Oh, I'm part of it, you know. Swimming. And yeah, all right. Well, I can share my screen now. That kind of summarizes it. But I think that's one of the most, well, it's just so, it just ends up forming you into this kind of way of thinking. Like, if you're not thinking that way now and you're trading NQ, NQ will teach you to think like that because you'll just get sick of it knocking you around. Yeah, anyway, so I'll share my screen. Yeah, I am recording. Yeah. All right, all right, all right. Let me find it. Do you see that, everyone? Hmm. All right. Okay. So, I mean, first things first, it's a funny one. And me and TTrades, I'll give a little bit of a backstory. I kind of met him like everyone's watched his YouTube videos of like I really liked his box setup video from ages ago because it reminded me of like an interesting and sort of fluid way of framing the old 80s pattern, the Quasimodo level pattern QML, right? Which is something that I used to trade. I've trade. I had that awareness years ago, many years ago, and so I'm like, oh, it sort of, I guess, tapped into the way I like to frame things to help other people. So trying to get to the core principles of what it is that's actually helping us in our analysis, right? In the most simple counterparts, just the fewest moving parts, right? And so I'm like, oh, I like his no bullshit kind of way of teaching. And okay, we'll fast forward quite some time later, you know, I streamed in front of ICT, which was funny as hell. And then he appeared in my. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, because I'm saying it anyway. He said, "Hey, I saw your stream. Ah, you view structure in a similar way to how I do." Um, and he sort of like emphasized he sort of I guess drew connections between how I see things, which is maybe less common way of viewing structure, and how he does, right? With this sort of emphasis on me the mechanical nature of execution and providing very specific, don't be scared to provide specific instructions of one, if this happens, do this. Two, then if this happens, you should be in the trades. And then three, your target is this, right? So three steps, right? Something like that. And so I'm like, oh, like, of course, he has a lot of followers, right? So I'm like, maybe this guy's a scammer. And I look at his Twitter account, I'm like, oh no, it's actually him. I'm like, why is he messaging me? I'm nobody. Anyway, so anyway, we get along. He's a very nice guy. I like him as a person, and I like what he's the way he views price, right? And yeah, so then he was like, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do a stream with you. So that might happen in due course. But fast forward to now, obviously we have this indicator. I'm looking at the indicator. I'm like, damn, this is like literally how I used have for a while defined reversals, right? So it's this two bar pattern, right? A wick, I always say, wick gets swept by a wick, yeah. And so wick gets swept by a wick. What the hell does that mean? Well, instead of thinking of a three-bar pattern where you got one candle lower than the one to the middle has a lower candle to the left, lower candle on the right. That's three-bar pattern, right? Well, instead, yeah, we have the way I view it, right, is you have finished business, right, and unfinished business. Okay, unfinished business. Guess what, guys? It's you got your candle, yeah, that's got the swing, yeah, wick up here, and the next candle after is has a wick that fails to sweep that candle's high, right? Guess what? That's unfinished business, and you'd see that as what? Trendline liquidity. Yeah. What's finished business is very much how TTrades is forming these reversals, and he's even doing kind of in a way what I was doing too, right? Funny. Where you have a wick sweeping a wick, right? I would always call this guy here the victim candle and this the violating candle, right? This guy's going to jail. Well, at least it's going to expand most of the time, right? So I know it's quite cumbersome, like having the chart in sort of anchored in this way. I've got a giant bloody screen in front of me, but if I streamed that, no one would see shit. So, um, gotta have my laptop screen working for us. Anyway, so you've got that pattern. So you'll see that it's quite similar to what we're seeing here. This right here, I'm automatically drawn on the right here with the 15-minute and 4-hour model. These are 4-hour candles. You can see this unfinished business at the lows, right? Because finished business would be a sweep, wouldn't it? And so we can come back for that. Will we? I don't know. Doesn't matter. We have unfinished business up here, right? So that becomes an easy target, right? Easy target. Why? Because if you think about it, there's been no manipulation there. Because a manipulation is qualified by a wick getting swept by a wick. That's where the stop losses are. Yeah. And then they're trapped from a market profile perspective. Once we close below the candle that caused that run, that's got all the orders stacked that are able to be filled with the larger traders' limits. And then what? Close below that, these guys are trapped traders, you would have heard of, right? Anyway, so the indicator is really good, really good. It's like better than I thought it would be, just because I'm like, this is a hard thing to automate. I've even had developers I've worked with in the past that tried and it didn't work um, quite how I wanted. Whereas this is this is pretty much just it. It's a soup between two candles, right? Soup between two candles, right? Right here and now, what do I have? Right on the 5 minute, we have the 5 minute to 1 hour. So you're viewing on the 5 minute, and the 1 hour is where we're waiting for the setup to form. So if we get something like this, where we run that high there, right, and you can see it looks like original consolidation. So using the fractal consolidations, running that high makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? That being that high, so probably come and run that high. I was sort of thinking, because it's like it's just released, right? But I'm like, liquidity depth could be pretty cool to add on, right? LD, can we find it? Yeah. Sort of experimenting a bit, but like purely standalone, you can have a 4 hour model, which is going to give you your one shot, one kill thing. Then you can watch for a smaller version. Right? So let's say on the 4 hour, we come and sweep these old highs, right? And then we come and break down. Yeah. Well, the T spot, as it were, is part of the structure or the wick, right? The candle that actually causes the breakdown, I believe, right? So you generally, his rule of thumb is you don't want to start closing bodies above the 50% of that candle, right? That breaks down, changes structure, right? So this becomes a great place to look for a fractal, a lower time frame, wick sweeps a wick, right? So you got your larger wick sweeps a wick, then you go to your 5 minute chart here where we have it automatic, right? So it's going to find the time frame that aligns, have the indicator settings that align with the time frame we're on. Yeah. And so then we are what? It's pretty much like zooming in, right? It's like magnifying, yeah, because you have your higher time frame 4 hour raid, yeah, like wick sweeps a wick. Then you go to a 1 hour model and find that entry based on the 4 hour shift, the 4 hour behavior, the 4 hour raid, right? And sure, you can whittle it down further, get it super tight. What would that be for? A stop loss, a tight stop loss, right? Well, having a tight stop loss, obviously, you can maybe use more contracts, right? Or maybe you prefer the easy life and you're like, I'm going to enter one contract and just let it ride and have my stop at the 4 hour swing. Yeah. And I know actually probably more sustainable to have it at that. Remember I was saying about the T spot? It's going to be this box that looks like this, right? And the top side of it is like a dotted line, right? Which will indicate the 50% of the shift candle, right? And that's a great place to enter, but you maybe want to have, right? If we come and run this, Maybe you want to have your stop loss. Let's say you entered somewhere in here on a fractal scale, fractal time frame. You have your stop at the 50%, the dotted line. So it kind of automates the like the need. There will be less need to think about, oh, where's my stop going? Because it's going to be have that as one of your instructions, right? Would be really cool, would it not? If we got a setup in the stream, I'd love that. That would be so cool. But keep in mind, you'll get a 4 hour setup, uh, or you'll get, should I say, you'll get a 1 hour setup, but you won't get a 4 hour setup, right? So be prepared for both. And you can set alerts, right? Add alert, it's a any alert function, right? So it's going to tell you when one of these things is confirmed. It will come up as C2, C3, C4, C4 being continuation setup, C2 being the reversal, I think. Um, so it'll be the swing that I think it's C2. Anyway, so we'll keep an eye on these, won't we? Because god damn, NQ is is heading to my zone. Okay, let's. I like. I'm streaming, but I'm going to be trading as well. So 732. Keep an eye on 732 for NQ, by the way. Might do something. Okay, let's see the chat. Ronald, Ronald. That's not a name. Ronald. Hey, Ronald. Which indicator are we talking about? TTFM, TTrades fractal model. Fractal consolidation is just it's the market maker model inside that, right? Um, that said, it's something you can trade just on its own. I noticed. I'm like, damn, I really need nothing more, right? What is really beautiful though, and I'll add it now. We'll add it to this guy with an awareness that we need to what? Like I always remind myself with text, right? So we just came and run those. Sometimes this lags a bit. I don't know why. But yeah, maybe I need to update the indicator because I might not have done. Um, but yeah, here we okay. Yeah, yeah. I think you go like this. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Cool. All right. Yeah, so you can see we swept that. So once this loads again, you'll see. God damn, isn't that cool? So what do we want to see now? Probably a pullback, close, start getting some lower time frame 5 minute closes below the opening price, probably. I'm not really sure about the calculation, but generally the way I would trade it would be you have this raid, yeah, and then you want what? To close below the close of the previous candle, actually. That's how I usually would trade it on a 5 minute, so a fractal time frame, which would be a 5 minute close here, just be looking to short. That's how I would, but I know he T trades has a different way, slightly different way, but it's got that mechanical nature once again, right? Where you're like, I could lose this trade, but this is where I should enter. I'm going to enter now, no hesitation, right? Okay, and yeah, we have that run. Very interesting, very interesting. Just gonna check here. Okay, god damn, that could be. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we hit the 732-ish zone. I'd quite like us to do 709 on NQ before any movement back up. We'll see. All right, so right here and now, we will add another indicator. I'm going to add it on this side, right, which will be stat map because it just works so well together. It's insane. Um, it's shocking, actually. I'm shocked. Open high local stat map. Okay, let's have a look. I should keep the chat up as well. I'm such a fingers in pie sort of guy. I, I'm trading. I'm thinking about the chat. I'm thinking, damn, people are listening to me. I should probably say something instead of like coordinating my next NQ trade. Okay, let's bring up the chat. Okay, I think it's very important. I try and make a decisive effort to keep reading the comments. Okay, made it 10 times faster. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's already looking good. Yeah, smooth. Okay. Yeah, I'm trading both GC and Q. The thing is, I was like falling in love with GC, and then I realized you shouldn't fall in. I remind myself, you shouldn't fall in love with a ticker, right? Because when GC is uh, dicking about, I mean, excuse my French, when GC is pulling that dick out, there I go again, then you want to probably trade NQ. What I noticed as well, they sort of take turns, funnily enough. I don't know how that works, but GC goes up. Yeah, yeah, like money flow. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm. Uh-huh. Chat about that. Yeah. It's very interesting because I'm noticing when sometimes when you can't really time it, like because sometimes NQ and GC will move up together and go down together. Other times you'll notice that it's almost like money is flowing into NQ from GC and vice versa, where NQ goes up and GC going down. I do believe there is some kind of interplay between actual money coming in and out of the market and it causing price to go up and down. We don't think of it like buying and selling pressure, but we think of it more like if we believe there's an algorithm controlling price, and I find it hard not to believe that just because I see such precision, right, in what we do. But if you believe that, you can still believe in this sort of coordination of orders, right? So automated orders from places like DTCC, right, um, will automate institutional orders, right? Go on the website, dtcc.com, I think it is. Basically just says we manage the biggest trades, by the way. These are the time ranges we operate in, right? So, um, but yeah, for me, I'm like, it makes sense if we think of it like automated buying and selling pressure. That's how I view it. Um, all right, let's have a look, shall we? Okay, so yeah, we got that run. No worries. Uh, uh, I didn't even get filled. I didn't get filled on that, dude, because yeah, it's you guys' fault. Yeah, God damn. Uh-huh. Yeah, it actually it missed my by like a couple of ticks, I think. But that means it's unfinished. Right. Please, guys, it was supposed to go to that level and now it didn't, right? You're making me look bad, right? Stop buying. Can you sell a bit? Just take some of those orders out. It looks like slanted lows anyway. Mhm. Mhm. Mm. And you can see I'm in paper trading anyway. I'm not actually. I've never taken a live trade in my life, so yeah, I wouldn't listen to me. Yeah, just demo. That's what trading's about, really. It's not the money. No, but yeah, no, man. Like, yeah, I'm sort of like half paying attention to my analysis on NQ because obviously we're not looking at NQ, and I'm like, oh God, it's like literally so close to my terminus. But yeah, NQ is a bit annoying in that respect. But oh, yes, let's do NQ. God, and it's open now, so NQ. NQ. Get up the old. Oh, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool. Okay, let's bring up the RTH. We got a little time. Little time. Okay. RTH. Yeah, jeez. Yeah, what the hell? That is wild. All right, so what do we see here? We okay. We have a previously unfilled CE, right? Um, right here and now. Oh, this is really cool. It looks great. Manipulation level, that is interesting. For me, I'd be boxing that off. Really, I'm seeing that as the structure. If you had to twist me arm, right? High, low, break up. Um, and it's you got the manipulation, daily manipulation around there. Do we need to go there? No. Back to my thing I spoke about last time, I think. Internal scam, which some of you are aware of. Well, that would be an internal scam, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, guys? So what am I going to do? I'm absolutely going to set an alert there. Once again, I'll echo what Josh said. Not doing signals here, but and plus, remember, we don't have to do anything we think, right, might happen. Yeah, it might happen. So one scenario is we move up from here, and this is enough. Why? Because you got that high that put in that bloody low. Sometimes I mix up speaking in straight English and then this weird ass northern accent, so don't mind me. I'm not actually northern. Yeah. Anyway, so you got high, low, break up. Then what? We actually came and fully mitigated that structure. First time, right? So this actually could be it, right? It could be it. What would get me in the trade? Well, I'm probably going to have to use a lower time frame. So we'll go, oh, this will be cool. This will be so cool. I'm such a dork. Yeah. Laugh about it. Yeah, we're all nerds. Uh, but yeah, I just I think sometimes I get people messaging me and they're like, "You really seem like you enjoy what you do." Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, I love getting wrecked every day." Yeah, I don't know, it just puts a smile on your face. I'm joking. It's actually my primary source of income, trading, I can say. So, all right, let's have a look. So I'm pleased by I can say that. I'm pleased I can say that because it's years of struggling, of course, before you, for many. But that said, I don't want to put people off because I know I know some traders trading 10 months, then kind of help them a little bit with my experience. I'm like, hey, uh, you could just trade like this, right? And those people are like pulling payouts. I mean, don't compare yourself to other people, right? But because I think comparison is the thief of joy. But yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. I can. I can. Hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're saying in a very scientific way. I'll say it in like a much more dumb way. Okay, so for example, when price has mitigated a range, right? If you return back to that, it's weak, right? It's like you took out the fuel, right? So price is likely just going to slide through it, right? Now, in this instance, we hadn't mitigated the structure because full mitigation is hitting the 50%, right? So there was still fuel in that structure, but we didn't use it, right? So it's not that we get to a level and we just enter, right? And I know impatience can cause you to do that. You're like, oh, we finally hit that level I've been waiting for all day. I'm just gonna log. Oh, it just keeps sliding through. Wait for a fractal confirmation. So for me, what would that look like? Something like if it's going to choose this structure here, well, we can not fully mitigate it, but just test the edge, considering we induced. This is what we call structural inducement, right? A bit different from algorithmic inducement. That's a topic for another time. Um, but structural inducement, you're going to see something like this. Now, how would I enter that? Well, I'm not going to wait for the 15-minute to look like that. I'm going to try and find that happening here. So, uh, but like on a fractal scale, it might screw me over if I do that. Let's do this. Okay, so we hit that. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. But we need that. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. God damn. All right. All right. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's a level. I also have another level which is a bit lower. So it's really like, as you said, Josh, waiting until one of these things holds. And we'll know because we'll a high. Break a high. Simple as that, really. Hmm. Yep. Hmm. Yep. Hmm. Uh, yeah. Damn straight. There's also a third type of test of a range, which it would still be bullish, right? Which would be the soup, which is you raid the low, but you fail to close bodies below that low. It's the most aggressive test of a range. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like coming and testing a structure and then coming back up and flipping it, having not closed bodies below? And in hindsight, you're like, yeah, I guess that was kind of bullish. But when it's happening, you're like, no, it's so extreme. It's going to keep going, you know. But yeah, it can, right? I also see that there is this structure here too, right? And then you're sort of getting a bit more zoomed out. You're like, what's around? All right, just in case, gonna have a look around. Maybe here, maybe here, right? Or maybe where we are now. We'll see. It depends. Are we going to soup that? Hmm. Let's see. Mm. So it is, yeah, because I don't know. Would I take this trade usually? Yes. Um, but I just keep things tight, right? And what I can say is this is interesting. I'm going to shift over to here. Like, of course, we can come and run that low again and then break structure up, and it would be actually a more significant structure, right? But you got to be in it to win it. I always say so. Um, you never know if it's going to be this time round, right? Back to the start of the call, what I was saying, when you have um, that perspective of like the market doesn't owe you any favors, so therefore you should expect the worst. Expect the unexpected, not the worst, you know. And so, like back to what you were saying recently, you were like, well, this could be one of those days where we don't come and fill the 50%, right? Well, if I'm looking at structure, that's a low, put in a high, and we broke below, right? Well, that could well be the thing that stops us from pushing up to fill that. But that said, there can be trades we take up to it, right? And that's enough for us. More than enough. There's a huge move, right? Let's measure that quick. Uh, of course, thinking about reversal structure, you want a wick sweeping a wick. Does it mean that we can't reverse without sweeping that previous the 940 wick? It doesn't mean you can't, right? That's 80 points. Not bad. Now, right here and now, let's see. Do. Yeah, using both. You got 5 minute. Let's keep an eye on here. So you can sort of prepare things for yourself. You're like, well, on the 5 minute model with a 1 hour paired with 1 hour, usually you'd want to see a wick sweeping a previous wick. So this 1 hour wick is yet to produce the next one, hence why we have this countdown, because then in 12 minutes we're going to produce another 1 hour candle, right? Which could be the candle to run that low to push up, right? And we have something here, just like you have the RTH BPR up here with this RTH gap here, you've got one combining those. Yeah. You very easily see what happened with this guy, and it seemed to be a springboard for higher prices, right? And so what do we have here? Did we tap it? No. So that could, I'm already thinking, well, in 12 minutes, probably a better trade. Plus, I like trading from 10 onwards anyway. I like to leave 9:30 sort of to do its damage. And then 10, 10:30, usually the sort of direction has been chosen and you can sort of just get in on retracements, right? So, and if your target is still far away, right? No reason to freak out and FOMO because you can just get into that. This would be a retracement to continue lower, wouldn't it? If you think about it, because if we leave those lows like that, right, it is not a reversal and it's just a retracement to come and take out the unfinished business and then maybe go up. Um, I think. Mhm, mhm. And we had, you see, yeah, now you're seeing it. You got this bearish 5 minute model, right? You can actually, you can actually get bullish if we flip that high, the raid, technically, right? That's how I'm viewing it, because what is that? That's like a kind of a rejection block, right? Kind of forming a rejection block, right? And so if you flip a rejection block, it's very powerful indication of a flip in the other direction, right? Um, and 8 minutes till that next 1 hour candle. And so we're just sort of preparing things. What do we want to see? Well, I'm sort of less interested in that now. I'm more interested in what might happen next, which would be if you don't get the trade, you don't get the trade. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. So um, maybe the next hour, which will happen here, right? So it's preparation mode. Well, maybe that's going to be where we see open, manipulate down, high close, right? Um, soup on the 1 minute is going to create the violator on the 15 minute. Okay, so I should be looking at the it's 5:15 minute, right? This one's the five. That's the 5 1 hour. Okay, so 1 minute should give us the 1 to 15 minute. You know, I mean, I mark things off. I'm not really giving a descriptor because it's not like a tool that I want to keep it very 2 degrees focus, right? But you'll notice where we're bouncing from. Um, yeah. Okay. You don't, yeah, sure. Uh, mm, Sure. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. Like I don't use VWAP, by the way. Um, but I think most tools work, and most tools have their like you can rationalize why they work, and that's all we really care about. Can we believe? Can we believe? Like trading is about belief, right? You got to believe in what you're doing enough to act with a strong will, right? To act with confidence, yeah. So you'll see PDVWAP close, right? Something I've used for years, actually. And but I don't use it like other people, right? Because I'm rationalizing why it works. When I use a tool and I incorporate a new tool or any tool, I'm like, why does it work though? Because I keep seeing price returns to it, right? Doesn't mean we bounce from it, but it almost becomes a magnet for the day. Yeah. And so my rationalization of why PD previous day VWAP close works. Think about traders, um, most traders using VWAP. Well, it's mostly retail traders, I would say. Um, so when the day closes, what do you think happens? A lot of those traders that entered in around the VWAP, they get trapped overnight, don't they? So what do you think happens when the day opens? Well, 9 times out of 10, that's not the exact statistic, but literally almost every time we're magnetized to that level. Why? Because it's stopping all the traders out that left their stops there. Traders leave their stops at the VWAP. Um, so yeah, it acts as a magnet because there's liquidity there, right? So how do larger traders fill their orders by stopping out smaller traders? And that's it. It's coming down here to fill orders. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 4 minutes. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, I mean, a cool way to view it, simple way, sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve, right? And you've got these consolidations on this move down. When you start to flip those, it sort of indicates a change in direction and whatever you might see one of these consolidations looks particularly like choppy or smooth, right? And then that usually becomes the target, doesn't it? Right? And so you just have a market maker buy model in that instance. So we've calmed down. Still got 4 minutes, though. 4 minutes, but this might form a 5 minute model for the retracement. Mhm. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Lord, yes. Hmm. Hmm. Yep, yep, yep. And yeah, still. Okay, that is the, let's get that going. That's the 1 hour. Still got those, we got equal lows. Let's see how we go. Can you hear me? Yeah, it was a bit of a whisper because I was having a mhm. Very much random. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Rejection block. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, like ultimately here you got a old CE of an RTH gap. What else can hold us where we are now? Well, it's getting to the point where we could run those lows, right? That said, if we find footing here, it still makes a bit of sense, right? Really, we're just waiting for that trigger. And we're looking at structure on that's left behind on the way down to potentially use as a target, right? So I can see here, right, if we remove this for a moment just to clear it up, we can see we have this C4, right? The C4, that is the 50% of that uh, T spot, right? That is the 50%. So closing above that, you can start kind of being bullish again. But at this point in time, we should be looking at this zone here as a reason to get short, actually. Lower time frame. Can you be wrong? Yes. So just be prepared to be wrong and protect yourself. But if I was to pull, okay, so it's from around here and up to here. Okay, so it's this whole range up here, right? What do we have inside there? We have fractal consolidation, right, inside there. So if we're going to get long, yeah, I want to have some kind of flip of a fractal consolidation generally. So what am I going to do? I'm going to, yeah, exactly. So basically, smart money reversal at that point, order pairing. They're flipping the books, right? So they were short, then they're getting long, right? Or is it a buy to sell? You know, so we're going up, so they can actually look to sell. So when we flip that, got an alert here. Alert to your friend. Maybe that because its structure or fractal consolidations in alignment with your T spot. Yeah. We can't just long here. We actually need to flip materials left behind on the sell side. So the sell side materials are the red boxes at the moment, right? This might turn to a green box, but really it's 50-50 until you actually break that dude, right? This might turn green. Mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's locking in that structure at that point once it turns. And we close above. Uh, yeah. Mhm. Uh, I know, Jeff. Good lad. Yeah, well, yeah, it's been good. Thank you for having me on again. And yeah, appreciate you all. You make it fun. Yeah, I recommend. Well, Jesus. That's like, hmm The only thing is, when I'm recording it, um, you, yeah, yeah, all right. But yeah, other than that, should be a-okay. I will upload it. Um, yeah, it's wild. Maybe. Yeah, you guys are psychos, like rewarding people that spam. I mean, you got that bot that comes through to anyone who's spammed a lot, you'll get that message that's like, you advance to next level spammer, right? It's cool. We're like-minded in that I think yeah, you attract similar people that think similarly to you, right, in this life. And I think as traders, if you have a sort of similar way of viewing the market as well, I think naturally you're going to get along. It also helps that you guys are like gentlemen as well, right? So, um, yeah, ditto. No, no. Oh my God. Well, look how many indicators you keep bloody developing. I don't expect anything anytime soon. And plus, I'm appreciating all of the new indicators you're releasing. Plus, it gives me something to talk about every few weeks, right? If I'm on stream. Oh, he's got another indicator. Let's see if we can combine these. It's like a cocktail, right? You create your own cocktail. You got Shaviv saying, I love Future Code. He gave me Enigma. Well, Enigma. What even is. You know what Enigma is? Enigma is your stop loss. What? Moving that stop loss tight. That's Enigma. Uh, let's see what else people are saying. Trading is like the black cat in the Matrix glitch. Yes. Something we saw monitored before back test take. Yeah. All right. Well, it's recorded. I can stop it here and it will look like I won, right? I put stop to break even anyway. Okay, I'm literally gonna stop.